Okay, today Salesforce development, day 9. So what is the outcome of today? What is the today's agenda? Today's agenda is we are going to quickly review the previous session and we'll talk about the static resource. We'll talk about static resource and how to reference the static resource in Visualforce and what is the purpose of it. And we'll talk about object fields information. How can we see the objects? How can we see the fields in Lightning, Classic, and Developer Console? And we'll talk more about the Developer Console open option. And we will see viewing the object and the fields information in the Developer Console. And today our focus is to learn the output text, Visualforce tag, and attributes of the output text, and decoding any Visualforce component, and then attributes in output text. And next we will see the enabling the development mode on UI in Lightning as well as in Classic. Then we'll talk about the Apex Param Visualforce tag and what are the attributes in the Apex Param. We'll have a quiz, homework, and today's interview. So this is our agenda. So let's go ahead and start. So yesterday we were talking about what are the Visualforce tags that we have learned yesterday?
Apex : output
field and output link.
Output field and output link. So today also we will see some more of the output Visualforce tag. But before that, let's understand what is a static resource. So static resource is basically static resource allow developer to upload a content that you can refer in Visualforce page. What kind of a content? Image, style sheet, JavaScript, or any other files. So this is the screen static resource, which will allow the developer to upload any type of file, upload a content where we can refer in Visualforce page. Also, we can refer in different places. So this is the place. Static resource is the place where we will upload either an image or either style sheet or JavaScript or zip file, any kind of a file we can upload it. And what are the limits here? An organization can have up to 250 MB of static resource. Any addition, you take a developer addition, unlimited addition, or any addition you take, the limit per organization is 250 MB of static for the static resource. That means each file in the static resource has to be maximum of 5 MB size. It can be low, but it cannot be more than that. So a single static resource can be up to 5 MB in the size. And what are the navigation steps to create a static resource? We have to log into Salesforce Lightning, click on a setup, and in quick find, there is an option called custom code. Within the custom code, we will see static resource. When you click on a static resource, this is the page which will open. This static resource is nothing but which will allow the developer to upload any kind of a file or upload content that you can refer in wherever you wanted to refer, you can refer. But the upload should be happen here, static resource. So when you click on a new button on the static resource, there are 4 fields. It opens up the new window. In the new window, you will see 4 fields. First field is the name of the static resource, Whatever the file you wanted to load it, related to that, if you have to name it. And next one is a description, where the description is add more information about the static resource. And file is choose either a CSS file or a jar file or zip file, image, PNG, zip, JPG or any kind of a file, you can upload it. Maximum of 5 MB size. So if you wanted to upload any style sheet, you can upload it here. Cache control. Cache control are two types. One is a private. Private is nothing but cannot share whatever file we have uploaded. We cannot share that with other users in Salesforce organization. That means it is restricted to the single user. Whoever is uploaded the static file into the static resource, only that particular user will be having access. Second option is public. Public means can share the file, can share whatever the file that we have uploaded, can share with other users in Salesforce organization. In real time, we will go with public. We never use private, right? We will go with public because we want everybody to access whatever the file we are loading it here. There might be some purpose. That's the reason we have loaded the file. So definitely the purpose might be on the Visualforce page or a Lightning or some other place we wanted to use this file. So that means if you are loading a file in static resource, you will load a file here if you have a client requirement. For example, client says that I want an image to be displayed on the org, or I want a complete CSS file. Architect says that create a style sheet, right? So you can upload it here so that everywhere we can use this link. So static resource is used to upload any content, any type of file, whether it could be a JPG or image, PNG or style sheet, jar file, anything, any file in Salesforce. This is the only place where you will put static resource, which is globally available for everybody. Globally available for everyone. Now, public is nothing but I can share the file with other users in the Salesforce organization. Now, let's see how to load a file. Now, let me open the Salesforce. So, navigation steps are click on Setup. In Quick Find, either you search directly here static resource or you go to the custom code. From the custom code, identify the static resource, click on that static resource. Okay, so first time you will see like this. What is the static resource here? Static resource are use static resource to upload content that you want to reference in Visualforce page, including the zip, ZAR file, images, style sheet, JavaScript, or any other files. What is the limit for the org? Static resource?
250 MB.
250 MB.
250 MB. Per file, how much is the limit?
5 MB.
5 MB.
5 MB is the limit. Now, if you wanted to load a file, so click on here, new. Click on here, new. Now, custom CSS, assume that I'm loading the CSS file. So here, name is nothing but it is a static resource name. You can give any name. Description, style sheet to use in Visualforce page. Visualforce page. And then here you have to choose a file. When you click on this choose file, what will happen? It will open up your local system. You can only load it from local system. You cannot load it from the online. If you want to load a file from online somewhere, first you need to download it. You need to download. And what kind of a files we can upload it? All files. Zip file, specific folder, or a document, or images, PNG, whatever you want, you can upload it. You can upload everything here. Now, the fourth one is cache control. Private is nothing but this is only restricted for single user. Single user. Only when we click on the page or Visualforce page, when we click on it, then only we can able to view it. Other users in my organization, in this organization, they cannot see the file because we have selected the private. Second one is public. Public is nothing but all the users within this Salesforce org. Everybody can see. So in real time, we use the cache control public. Now, let's assume that I wanted to create a style sheet. Yesterday we have created this one, right? Now, what I wanted to do is, I wanted to load a CSS file in static resource. Okay, so let me open the page. So what I'm going to do, I'll be implementing a notepad. Okay, I'll be writing some logic here, some CSS file. So let's assume that color blue, right? So I'll be saving this in my local system. So let's assume that I'll save with, I will save custom CSS dot CSV dot CSS, not CSV, because we are using the style sheet here. If you are loading a Java or JavaScript, then use the JS. If you are some images are there, definitely the extension will be PNG. But in this case, I'm implementing a notepad where I'm writing all the styles in one place, all the styles in one place. So for that, what we have to use? We have to use .css. .css is the extension for style sheet. .css is the custom CSS for style sheet. .css is the extension. Now I will save this on my desktop. Now the second step is, what I'll do, I'll go to the static resource. I'll go to static resource page. Static resource page, and I'll click on a new button. So I'll click on new button. Whatever the file that I have created, I will load it into the static resource. By clicking on the new button, I will load into the static resource. Now, this is the second step. First step is I have created the style sheet. Second step is loaded onto the Salesforce. Third step is where I need to reference into the Visualforce page. In Visualforce page, I need to reference. So this is the third step. If I reference this, what will happen? Automatically, the styles will be applied to this page. Automatically, the style is, what are the styles we have implemented, the CSS file. It will be whatever we have implemented, it will be applied to the page. Now, once we click on this preview, here I'm just giving the resource name. For example, when I'm loading the CSS file into the static resource, I'll give a name. Name equal to custom CSS. Now here, how do I reference it? I reference it custom CSS. Write custom CSS, I'll put, because the name of the file is, I have given here custom CSS. Now, till this point is clear. I have created a file and which I have loaded into my system. From the system, from my local system, I loaded onto the Salesforce in a static resource. Then I'm referencing that in the Visualforce page. Now, when I reference that into the Visualforce page, how do I reference it? Now, I have given here custom CSS. But when you give the custom CSS, how does Visualforce understand it is related to the static resource? When you are giving a name here, how does the Visualforce page understand whether it is a variable or whether it is a custom object or it is an object or it is a something label or is it something different or is it a static resource? How does it understand? If I just mention the name, it doesn't work. I need to tell the Visualforce page, whatever the file name I'm giving here, this file is coming from static resource. This file is coming from static resource. This file is coming from static resource. So in order to inform the Visualforce page, what I'll do, first I have to, basically I need to tell the Visualforce page, the navigation I have to tell to Visualforce page. Go to static resource. And from there, look for the file custom CSS. Now this human can understand this navigation step, but Visualforce page cannot understand this. So in order to tell the Visualforce how we can tell is we are going to use the dollar. We will use the dollar. Dollar is nothing but globally referenced. Global reference and dollar resource. Dollar resource is nothing but static resource and then slash custom CSS. So what will happen here? The first thing it is going to, dollar resource is nothing but Visualforce page understand, okay, this is the Visualforce page. Dollar resource is nothing but Visualforce page. Dollar represents the global. If you wanted to pull any global values, any global field values, then you have to mention the dollar. And the resource, which is nothing but a static resource, within the resource, slash and custom CSS, give the name of the resource. Give the name of the resource. Now, when we click on a preview, that's how we can see all the styles gets applied to the UI. Now, so reference static resource in the Visualforce page. Basically, we have to use Apex : style sheet. The tag called Apex : style sheet. In Apex : style sheet, we use dollar resource. We use dollar resource. In order to call static resource, we have to use a dollar resource. Dollar resource within the Apex style sheet. Apex : style sheet is to, this is specific to the style sheet. If you are implemented any style sheet or CSS on your system, you have built a notepad or you have created some file in your system and you wanted to use that file here, then use the Apex : style sheet. Dollar is nothing but here means global merge field. It's a global, and dollar resource is nothing but a global merge field type to use when the referencing an existing static resource by name in a Visualforce page. Now, how do I use the dollar resource in? So after dollar resource, then we will give the resource name. This we have to mention in the merge field. Here the resource name is nothing but the name that we are specifying while creating the static resource. So dollar resource slash and the resource name. How do I mention that? In the value. We have an attribute called value. In value, we will specify the static resource name. So example, value equal to $resource dot static resource name. Value equal to exclamation, curly braces, exclamation, $resource dot static resource. So here two things, remember, if you are using this Visualforce tag, that means you are planning to use a style sheet, external style sheet. You are planning to use external style sheet. Then you will go with Apex style sheet. In the Apex style sheet, we have an attribute called value. We have an attribute called value. In the value, to bring a which, for example, there are 10 styles are there. In static resource, there are 10 records are there. Now, which style sheet do I need to refer in this Visualforce page is decided by this. Is decided by this. So value equal to, you will be mentioning the curly braces, exclamation, $, represents the global, resource dot static resource name. Whatever the static resource name that we have given, using that, we will be calling the style sheet. We will be calling the style sheet. Any questions? Before I start a program, any questions? Okay.
No.
Okay. So let's go ahead and implement. Okay. So let's create the new one, new Visualforce page. VF underscore static resource. Now, for example, I'm going to implement a basic one. So we have a H1 tag in the HTML. So I'm going to use. So I'll say that welcome to Swapna Salesforce. Okay, so basic, I'm using it. So I'll say H1. I'll implement one more paragraph here. In the paragraph, I'll just mention some text. Let's say that we teach Salesforce, Apex, Visualforce, Lightning Aura, Lightning, Web Component, Integration, right? So this is what? Paragraph. Now this is what? Just a normal, right? Just a normal information I have given. And also I'll add few more details here. We help you to become Salesforce developer. Perfect. This is a normal page. Now if I click on a preview, what is this? There is a H1 header and there is some text here. That's it, right? Now I wanted to apply a style sheet here. I wanted to apply a style sheet. Basically, I need this color needs to be kind of a red, right? This color needs to be a red, like a welcome to Swapna Salesforce. Maybe I wanted to make it as a bold and change this. And I wanted to add some background color to it. I wanted to add background color. So what I'll do is, first thing is I'll open the notepad. Open notepad. Now in notepad, H1 and P1. right? That is the two tags which I have implemented in the page. So ultimately, I wanted to apply color to the H1 and I wanted to apply color to the P. For H1, let's say that color colon, let me use hash F00 and font weight. Let's say bold. Okay, this is the H1. Now, next paragraph, I wanted to apply a color to the paragraph. Let's assume that I wanted to apply background color. Background color, something EEC. Okay, done. Now let me save this information. Desktop, I'll create a new folder. Okay, in new folder, I'll create custom, or I'll say that sample style sheet or sample style dot CSS. What I'm using the dot CSS, sample style dot CSS. Now let me save this. Now this is saved. Now what I'm doing here, basically whatever here we have implemented H1 and the paragraph. I wanted to apply a color to H1. I wanted to apply color to the paragraph. I wanted to apply a color to the paragraph. So that's the reason wherever we use H1, wherever we use in this page H1, ultimately all the H1 should be this color. Wherever I use the paragraph, ultimately all my paragraph should be this color. Now let me save this. Let's go to the static resource. In static resource, I'll choose a file. Choose file and desktop. Let's go for class and we have a sample style. See here, the icon gets changed and the type of the file you will see cascading style sheet. Type you will see cascading style sheet. So open up. So there is a file which is loaded, right? I have just loaded the file and I'll click on save. When I click on a save, it gives more information to me. The first information is what type of a file. Text CSS. What is a cache control public? And what is the size of the file? 61 bytes, very small. And who has created DEC batch and who has modified? This is the person. When 19th January 2023, 6:05 a.m. And when the person has modified, same time. Now, in case after loading it, if you wanted to view the file, after loading, you wanted to view the file, just click on this view file. Just click on view file. So it will show H1 color. We have given some color there and then font. Now there is a space has to be there between the font and semicolon. So I have not given a space there. Now what I'll do is I have opened and I reviewed it. There is something wrong. There is something wrong in this file. So what should I need to do? Do I need to delete this and again I need to create it? Not necessary. Just click on edit. But before that, modify the file. Before that, modify the file. Open the sample style in Notepad and give a space here. Click save. Now, the file has been uploaded. Again, choose it. Now, just now it is updated. Click on open and then save. Now cross verify whether your file is updated correctly or not. Before it was a 61 bytes. Now it is 62 bytes. So that means the file has been updated. File has been updated. Now what I'll do, I'll take the name of this static resource. I'll take the name of this static resource. Now let's go to the sales developer console. Let's go to the developer console. Now here I need to use the style sheet. I need to use a style sheet. Now for example, where should I need to use the style sheet? Is that needs to be inside the page block or inside the page block section or inside the output panel or output text? No. Just immediately after the apex page. Just immediately after the apex page, you need to write the apex : style sheet. Apex : style sheet. It has two attributes. One is ID. As usual, for every Visualforce tag has a ID by default. And the second one is value. What is expecting the value? Value is expecting the object, or value is expecting the merge field. So in merge field, how to write the merge field? Curly braces, exclamation.
Object name.
Resource name.
First we have to mention the dollar.
Resource.
Resource name.
Resource dot.
Resource name.
Static resource name.
Yes. And it is a self-closed. Style sheet is self-closed. So this is what I have applied it. Now let's go and see. I did not make any changes to H1. I did not make any changes to P. I just added the style sheet. That means what are the CSS that we have written inside the styling? Those styling should be automatically applied to H1, automatically applied to paragraph. Now let's go ahead and see. Yes, it has applied it. Right? H1 is a red color and we teach apex was the background color. We have added something. If you want a background color, yellow color, you can apply it. So for example, background I need, let's say pink. Pink, maybe blue. I'll save it, close it, go to the static resource, edit, choose a file, choose the sample style, open, save. 63 bytes. Yes, it is updated. Click on a view file, cross check. Yes, it is updated. Now, if I refresh, it did not apply the blue. Why it did not apply the blue? Let's go ahead and check.
I think hash is there in file. I'm not sure, but
Right. Here we have a hash. So there is a mistake. If I give blue, it works. You can check it from the inspect also. In case if your style sheet has any issue, so what you can do is you can click on, for example, right now we added the blue color. It did not work. So what I did, I clicked on inspect over this, again inspect. Now you will be able to see, point out that particular line you see here. So it is giving the invalid property name. Now, perfect. So that means hash not be there. So if I add something different color, yellow, green, right? I can add these all information. Now what I'll do, I'll go back to the static, the file, and I'll make a changes to that. Now let's say Now, one more thing. So in the Visualforce page, H1P tags are the standard tags. H1P tags are the standard tags, and whatever we have written, H1 is only applied to the H1. P, whatever the styling we have, only it will apply to the P. Let's assume that I have yesterday we have implemented something called this output link, right? Here the output link, I'll use the output link. Now yesterday what we did, we have written the style sheet here. We had written the style sheet here. Now I don't want to write the style sheet. I don't want to write here. Basically, I wanted to go to my style, and what I'll do, I'll put that style. Save it. I'll go back to the style static resource, click on edit, choose a file, sample style open, click on save. Refresh. Perfect, it applied this also. If you have any question, inspect and go and check. Yes, this is the one which we have applied it. This is the one which we have applied it. So if you wanted to, why we use this, why we need a static resource separately? Because, for example, you have written the 100 lines of these styles in your Visualforce page. In your Visualforce page, 1 to 100, you have written just as styles. Just as styles. That means just as CSS you have written. CSS you have written. That means half of your Visualforce page is going to take till, for example, you have written this one, and there is another one you have written, and another one you have written. So like this, so many are there in the Visualforce page. Now, instead of you writing here so much of the style sheet, so much of the CSS here, what you can do is you can better create a separate CSS file. In real time, we create a separate CSS file, basically where in that page, once we include this static resource custom CSS, whatever the static resource name is there, in this entire page till the end of the apex page, wherever we use paragraph, wherever we use H1, wherever we use any other tags, right? So if you have a CSS written on this, that means it will apply for all the H1s, all the paragraph. Right? So sometimes when you are researching your code, when you are identifying your code, like you are doing the debug, there is some issue came on top of you. Your company has already a Visualforce page is already implemented. Visualforce page is already implemented. It has 200 lines of code. It has 200 lines of code. And this says that H1 on top, it is displaying perfectly fine, but there is some text at the bottom which has another H1. It used to display. Now it is not displaying it. What might be the reason? They might have raised the defect. Defect is nothing but issue. So they raised an issue. In that case, first check whether that particular Visualforce page has a style sheet or not. If that Visualforce page has a style sheet, then if this H1 is working, then there must be another H1. Whatever is written here, it should be working. In case if it is not working, then right click on the inspect and cross verify this particular H1. Is there somebody has written any other styles on top of H1? So we need to check. So the first thing in the real time, you need to check, is there any style sheet applied to this Visualforce page? If not, perfect, you go ahead and analyze that all 200 lines. If it is applied the style sheet, that means by default, this page, whether it is a 200 line, 300 line, or 400 line, whatever is written, the code, whatever is written, the styles in the file, when I say file is nothing but here. So in the file, whatever the CSS or styling has implemented, that should apply to all of them. If this is not working, means somebody has posted something. Somebody might have written another style only for that particular H1, and which they made it as override the existing one. Whatever the already style is there, which they wanted to override it. How can we override the CSS? How can we override the style? Yesterday we have discussed. How can we override it?
Exclamatory important.
Exclamation important. If you write this, you will override whatever the previous one which is highlighting this. If your CSS is not working, then write here, for example, here we have written the, I'll remove this important. So here we have not used the page block, so it is working fine. So in case if you need to override, you have to use the exclamation important. Now, another way of research is you have this right here, style class. Style class is new link. Style class is new link. But do you see anywhere the style class here? It's not there. So check whether this has and open that particular file. How you will open in the production? Go take this copy of this resource name, go to the static resource and click on this view file. When you click on this view file, look at, do you have a same name in the style sheet? If yes, then that is the one which is applying the styles. Is that clear for everyone? Okay, so let's move on. Next one, objects and fields information in Lightning, Classic, and Developer Console. How do we see objects and fields in Lightning? So we will go to the Object Manager, Setup, and then go to Object Manager. If you go to Object Manager, you will see list of the objects. You will see list of the objects, whatever the objects that are there in the Salesforce. All the objects name you can see in the Object Manager. Now, if you click on any particular specific object manager, for example, here I clicked on the specific object manager called account. When we click on an account, this page gets open. And here we have an option called fields and relationship. When you click on a fields and relationship, you will see the field label and field API name and what type of data it is. What type of data. And there are some more other fields are there. For now, just focus on field label, field name, and data type. This is how we will see in Lightning. Whereas in Classic, you have to click on a setup and here search your, what are the object is there. Search, if it is a standard object, search it here, account. So if you search it, you will find the account, and inside the account, you will see option called fields. When you click on the fields, this is the screen that gets open. You will see the label, field API name, and the data type. There are other fields also. So field label, field name, and data type. Field label, the way how it is in the user, in the page, in the Lightning page, or in the, if you open any account, whatever the labels you are seeing there, that the same label name will be appear here. So API name, is not shown on the UI. API name is for developers. This section, whatever the field name is there, this is for the developers. Why they use? Because if they are implementing any program or if they are implementing any Visualforce page, which one they will refer the field API name. Whenever you are writing a code or whenever you are writing a Visualforce page and you are calling the object called account, and in the account, if you wanted to refer any field, do not take the account name. Account name is the label. Take the name. That is the API name. Do not take the account site because that is the label. Just take the site. So developer has to focus on the API. So API is for development purpose. And this is how it displayed in the classic. Now coming to the developer console. Developer console, you will have a more flexibility. You will have more flexibility. When I say more flexibility, there are few fields which you cannot see on the object manager and account field. There are few fields we cannot see. Example, billing address. Billing address, for the developers, this won't help. Billing address is it's a merge of so many fields. Street, country, zip code, postcode, state, these all fields are there. So it combines all the information and it stores in the billing address. Billing address is just for the UI purpose. Even in the classic, you will see data type called address, but this is not a single field. This field has a multiple fields within it. This field has a multiple fields. So this has a street, this has a city, and this has a state and postcode, right? Many of the information it combined together and it is storing in the address data type. Now for the developers, this does not help. For the developers, this does not help. So what the developer has to do is developer has to go to the developer console. Go to developer console and look at this billing address, right? So this is how we see in the Lightning or Classic. When we go to the object manager and when we click on the fields, we will see this is the one. But this billing address is billing street plus billing city plus billing state plus billing postal code plus billing country plus billing latitude plus billing longitude plus billing geocode. So it's combining all of them and storing all the information here. And this is for the developers. Developers need this information. Sometimes we need only the zip code. Sometimes we need only the country of that account. Sometimes we just need a state of that account. So in that case, always go ahead and look at the developer console, because Lightning Object Manager does not help and account fields in the Classic does not help. So this will give the clarity of the API name. Now, one more thing here. In the developer console, we see the API names. This is API names. These all are API names. These are not same as account label, right? So here, the field name is name. Now here the name, site. So we have a site, might be down. And right here, we will see all the API names. Because this information, whatever we are doing in the developer console, this will give only API information, field API name, and what type of a field it is. Only 2 columns, field API name and what type of field is it. Now let me go to the Salesforce. Now in Salesforce, let me go to the Home. So click on a setup and then click on the object manager. When you go to the object manager, you see all these objects here. Now, if you wanted to know how many fields are there in this object or contact anyone, you can just click on it and then click on the fields and relationship. You will see all the fields that are displaying here. Field label, the one which is displaying on the user interface. Field name, these are the API names which is used in the development purpose, and the type of data. Now, if you go to the classic also same. So let's switch to the classic. So in classic, click on this setup. Okay, click on setup and then search here account. If it is a standard object, you can directly search here. So I have accounts. Inside that I am interested only on fields. So click on these fields. When we click on these fields, it will be redirected to the account fields. In account fields, we will see the field label, field API name, data type. Now, in the developer console, the navigation steps. What is the navigation steps to open the developer console? Now, let's see. So in developer console, we have an option called open. So navigation steps are file. Click on a file and then you will see one option called open. Click on the open. When you click on the open, this is the window that gets opened in the developer console. Open has three things. One is entity type, and the second one is entities, and the third one is related. Entity type, entities, related. Now, what is entity type? Entity types are nothing but classes, triggers, pages, Visualforce pages, Visualforce page components, objects, static resource, packages. You can see all this information. If you click on any of this entity type, what will happen as soon as I click on this entity type, immediately the entities that are displayed based on the selection of entity type. When you select this here, objects, it will show you all the objects that are there in the Salesforce, including the Salesforce standard, which we cannot see in the object manager. There are few objects like AI application configuration. There are some objects which we cannot see in the Salesforce Lightning or a Salesforce Classic, but it will be visible here. It will be visible here because these objects are only used by the developer. There is nothing we need to do regarding the user interface. These objects are nothing to do with the user interface. This is only for the developers. So when you click on a specific entity type here, for example, if you click on a Visualforce pages, what will happen? It will show all the Visualforce pages that we have written so far. And then related. Related is nothing but once you select the objects, what will happen? It shows the entities. Now here you need to select the entities. Select the entities, one of the entities. Then if there are any related information is there, then it will show. That means related will be shown based on the information that is selected on the entity type and the entity section. Based on the selection of entity type and entities, it shows if there are any related data. That means, for example, we have not gone to the Apex, but let's assume that I have selected the Apex class. Apex class will be having some methods. So what it will show in the related, it will show all the different, what are the methods are there, it will show everything. Now, after that, we have one option called open. Open is nothing but if you have selected this and if you click on open. So what will happen? It will open this particular entities. It will open these particular entities. Now there is another option here, filter. Another option called filter. What is this filter? When you click on objects, it shows some thousands of objects here. But you are not interested to go through each one of them, scroll them and identify. You do not have that much time to scroll down and find what is the name that I'm looking at. Instead of that, just type here, type account. So what will happen? It will, as soon as you type here, your filter gets applied here. You need not to click on anything. You need not to click on anything. So just keep on typing here. As you are typing, your filter gets filtered here. So you will see when you end the account, you will see only related to account entities. And the next one is hide managing package, managed packages, right? Manage packages. Because when we click on objects, it also shows us the objects that are from the managed package. I'll come to this later, managed package, because we need to understand what is the managed package, what is the unmanaged package. That we will discuss later. But just information, if you check this, what it does within this package is nothing but assume that it is a box. Within this package, there are some objects, right? I don't want to see the objects that are inside this package. Then check this. What will do? It will hide it. It will hide it. Next, refresh. In case if you just wanted to refresh the entire thing, now you are not able to see some information. Just click on a refresh and then select the objects. You might be seeing the information here. Right? And then next, the main important Aura and LWC options are not available in this window. You cannot find the Aura, you cannot find the LWC. Those options won't be there in the open window. In the open window, you cannot see it. So assume that I clicked on the file, open. Now I selected the objects. Now from the object, what are the I selected here, the object. What it will do, it will show this information. Then select any one of them, click on open. So once you click on open, this is the screen that gets open. This is the screen that gets open. Let me open the developer console. Let's save this. File, below the new option, we have a open. Just click on this open, or you can use the Ctrl+O. Okay, if it works, good. If it doesn't work, then you have to do the debugging. Here, so when it is open, this is the window that gets open, right? Entity types are classes. We don't have any classes because we have not yet reached the Apex classes. Triggers, we don't have anything because we have not written anything. Pages, yes, we have written some Visualforce pages like VF address, assignment, page block section, assign to one, output field. See here, the related is loading it. It doesn't show any related because right now we have not yet reached that point. Now here the static resource. When I click on the static resource, related to static resource, right? In the static resource, we have something external, we are taking it, right? Apart from whatever we have this Visualforce page, if this Visualforce page is calling something different, when I say something different, Visualforce page is if it is calling the Apex, or if it is calling the style sheet, or if it is calling the another Visualforce page, or is it calling the any other thing, then what will happen? It shows all the information. Now, what happened here immediately? Now I clicked on this. I clicked on the static resource. Immediately it shows there is an arrow mark here. That means you can directly go to the static resource. Click on this. static resource. Now I cannot see static resource because that is not available right now. Now objects, we see a lot of objects we have here, right? So many objects, there are some thousands of objects, which we cannot see in even Lightning or a Classic. On the Lightning experience or a Salesforce Classic, we don't see these many objects. Now, I need only the account object, type account. So as you are typing it, it's keep on filtering. See, on account itself, I have so many objects. Account change event, account clean info, account contact relationship, account contact role, change, event, account feed, account history, account partner, account share. These many are there on the account. And if I open the Salesforce, do I see that? Let me switch back to the Lightning. Okay, if I search here object manager, how many do I see? Let's search here account. Maximum I see 2. Account contact, relationship. But in developer console, you have a more flexibility. You have more options available here. More options available here. But what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this? If I select it, what will happen? Now, if you select and click on open, it will just give you the field information in the object. Field information in the object, and the extension is .obj. Extension is .obj. So it will give just information. These are field API. Now look at here, building city, building state, postal code, country code, latitude, longitude, geocode, accuracy, address. Yesterday, I have given an assignment to show the address information. So instead of you taking the building address, because what we are doing yesterday, output Visualforce tags, right? Output Visualforce tags doesn't support for the type of data type called address. It doesn't support. You will not be able to use this. As you are implementing the code, Salesforce Developer Console shows here the error. Address data type cannot be referenced in the Visualforce tag. So in that case, what you have to do, if you are implementing a Visualforce page, that means standard controller equal to account, then look for what is the assignment. If I'm asking the billing street, take the billing street. Instead of the address, take the billing street, and take the billing city, take the billing state, take the billing postal code and the billing country. Is that clear?
Yes, Swapna.
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you will see it. Even not only the account, if you click on file and click on open, right now you are not interested in the account, then search for lead. I'm interested in lead. So select this, click on open. You will see all the fields in the lead. Now lead also has the address. Now lead has a different values. So don't ever think that lead also might be having the same API names. No, these API names are only to account object. Lead has a different API name. It does not have a prefix with billing. It does not have prefix with billing. It has street, city, state, postal code, country, latitude, longitude, geocode accuracy. And then we have an address. So it combines, address combines from the street to geocode accuracy. So lead has a different API field. So always look at the API fields in developer console. You will get a clarity how to use it and which field need to be used in order to implement the requirement. Now, next one is output text. Next Visualforce tag is apex:output text. Output text is, we use this component to display the text. we use this component to display the text. Either the text will be, so developer can customize what text needs to be printed on the page. Can be provided hard-coded value. We can also provide the hard-coded value like a hello world, or you can provide merge fields. Also, you can provide merge fields if you wanted to print the value from the page. So you take any merge variables or merge fields or merge labels or anything, you can use it. Here, what I'm using it here, new word I'm using here. I'm using the merge variables. Merge variables. Now, what is this means? This means variables also can be declared in the Visualforce page. Now, what is the variable here? Variable is nothing but, for example, if you have to declare a field and value in code, if you wanted to calculate C equal to A plus B, you wanted to do the sum of this. Now, you need to decide what is the A value. A value equal to 5 and B value equal to 6, right? So you will declare this value and then you do the sum of C equal to A plus B. Now here, whatever the A is there, I'll say here integer. The data type is integer. And here the data type is integer. C is also integer because the result I'm getting integer. Now here A is a variable. Assigning the value to the variable. I'm assigning a value to the variable. Here, I'm assigning the value 5 to the variable. So this variable declaration, not this way, but there is another way. The variable declaration also can be done in Visualforce directly. You can directly define the variable in the Visualforce page. We will see how that is. We will see that. So for example, I have a table. In table, I'm showing all the account records. I'm showing all the account records. For example, 10 accounts I'm showing it. Now I need to have a row number. Like in Excel sheet, how it displays 1, 2, 3, 4. So this row number, I need it. So what you can do, you will declare a row number in the Visualforce page. So this variable you will declare in the Visualforce page. You will say that variable. Okay, I need a variable. So you will say that variable row number. You will declare directly in the Visualforce page. So whatever you are implementing, automatically the number counts will display here. Number counts will be displayed. That is one example. Also, we can declare a parameters. Parameters is nothing but, for example, I have a text. I have a text. This is my Visualforce page. That is the text I have. This is my Visualforce page I have. So I wanted to display, this is my page. Now here, this space I need it because based on the component name, I wanted to give it 2 words here. I wanted to give it 2 words. My first Visualforce page or my first input page, right? How can I do that? What I'll do is simply here I'll mention that take a first parameter and then take the second parameter. Then take the second parameter. Whatever the first parameter is there, display that text here. Whatever the second parameter is there, display that here. That means this is my, and then first parameter and the second parameter. After that, we have a page. After that, we have a page. So I can pass these parameters here. The parameters, how to pass it, we will see that. We can pass the parameters to the output text. Output text we can pass the parameters. So output text is the one where we can display the text on the Visualforce page. So developer can customize what text needs to be displayed. Like I need some kind of a customized text. So you can write it like this, or I just need a hard-coded value, just write this. Or else you can provide any variable that you are declaring in the Visualforce page. Now let's see how to use the output text. Now before I move on, any questions? Any questions on the output text? Okay, so decode of any Visualforce component, we have a self tag and we have a open and close. Yes, tell me, what are the options are there?
Apex is a prefix namespace.
Prefix namespace, component name, attribute.
It's a attribute, right? This is how we do the decoding. Now, output text has a few attributes. We will see today few attributes. First one is a value. The text, what are the texts that displayed when this component is rendered? What is a rendered here? Hold on that. Okay, so for now, rendered, hold on it. This is basically display the text. Display the text based on certain value. Now, there is another attribute, title. Title is the text to display as a tooltip when the user's mouse pointer hovers over the component. If I hover on this component in the user interface, it should show me a tooltip. Style, I can apply any CSS style, inline style. Style class, I can apply any external CSS. Styles that I can apply it, external CSS style sheet. Now let's go ahead and see that. I'll take the same class that we have implemented right now, static resource. Okay, perfect. Now here, after paragraph, what I'll do is I'll use Apex colon output text. Right? Within this, I'll write it training. Attributes are not mandatory. None of the attributes are not mandatory. Only sometimes it is needed. We will see when it is. Okay, so here I'll say output text training. Let's save this. I just added the output text training. Go back to the VF page. See here, it is added the training. Right now, what we did, we just hard-coded the value. Now, for example, I wanted to pass some parameters. Let's suppose, now I wanted to add here value. Let's say that this is I need a space here. This is my text. I'll give a space page. Now within this, basically I need to add a parameters here. Here it should come my. And here it should come 1. But who will be passing the 0, 1? Who will be passing the 0, 1? Who will be passing the 0, 1? Right now, if you see this, it is just shows the 0 and 1. It doesn't give me whatever I'm expecting. It doesn't give me that. It doesn't give me anything here. Now, how do we do that? How do we do that? Okay. We have a tag called Visualforce tag. Sorry, we have a tag called Apex Param. We have a tag called Apex Param. Apex Param. This is a Visualforce tag. What is this? This is basically a parameter for a parent component. This is a parameter for parent component. Now, what are the parent components here? There are multiple parent components. Output text, the one which we are discussing right now, and also output link, and also we have a command link, action function, action support. These are the few. We have learned the output text, output link. Within the output text and output link, we can use the para. What it does, it passes the para. It is a basically child component for this parent one. This is a child component. Whenever you wanted to pass a parameter to the parent component, then we will use the para. And we use this component to pass the parameter to the parent component. And what are the attributes it has? The attributes are value, any data that you wanted to associate it with the parameter. Example, value equal to San Francisco. So, or you wanted to display contact name, you can pass the contact name also. Or if you wanted to pass the row number, you can pass the row number to the parent component. And then name, what are the name you wanted to give, the key for this parameter. For example, name equal to Q. Q is nothing but if you wanted to search anything in the Google, you can give a name equal to ID, name equal to location. Now let's see that. Now, first thing. Okay, so here I needed two parameters. Who will be passing it? We have a child component called Apex Param. We have a child component called Apex Param. In this Apex Param, we have a value. Value equal to, I wanted to pass my. And then the second one, Apex parameter or param, and I need value equal to Visualforce. Let's save this. Refresh, what happened? It is replaced by it replaced first parameter and the second parameter. Now, if you want multiple, you can write a multiple params, Apex param. So Apex param, when we use it, if I wanted to pass a parameter to the parent component, if I wanted to pass parameter to the parent component, sometimes I might need to pass the value based on the certain conditions. In real time, how we use it, based on certain condition. That means if this is true, then only show me this value. If this is a false, then show me the other value. This is just one example. This is just an example. Or if you want, based on the certain condition, if you wanted to pass the parameter, then we have to use the Apex param. We have to use the Apex param. Now, there is another way. This is what we have used. We have used in the output text. Now, I wanted to use it in the output link. We can use the param in the output link also. Now how to use it? Let's create a new Visualforce page. VF underscore. Let's say Param. Apex page. Now inside this, I will go and use the Apex colon output link. Apex colon output link. And what are the data that I need to pass here? What are the attributes that I need to use here?
Value equals to
Redirect to URL.
So let's suppose value equal to HTTP colon, let's say google.com. Now here I'll say that search Google. Now if I click on a preview, there is a search Google. If I click on it, it goes to here. But what I need is I want a default search. Now we have, if we go to the contact, okay, if I go to the contact, let's open recent contacts. So let's assume that we have a contact called Swapna Salesforce. Based on this name, take a name of this contact and search in the Google. By default, do the search. I'll not be entering the contact name here. I'll not be entering the contact name. As soon as I click on this, okay, let's click on preview. As soon as I click on this link, it should take the contact name and then search it into the Google. Search into the Google. So what I'll do is, first thing, I need a contact information. So which attribute do I need to use it here? If I have to use the standard output contact.
Standard controller. Standard controller
equal to contact. I'm using the contact. Now I need to pass a contact name to the output link. I need to pass contact name to the output link. And what I'll do is, that means output link need a parameter here. So what I'll do is I'll use a Apex colon
Output
Param.
We will use the param because I need to pass a value to the output link. We need to pass a value to the output link. Value equal to, I'll use the merge contact.
So
I need not to mention the Swapna here. Just I need to take the name, contact.name. If I take the contact.name, what will happen? It will automatically take the name. Now, if I click on preview, let's click on this. Still, it is not working. Still, it is not working. The contact name is not taken automatically. Now, there is a one thing we have here, search. You have a search. That means you did a search here. If you give Google/search. Search needed a specific attribute. Search needed a specific attribute. If you right click on this, click on inspect and go to the console. Okay, so this is basically, instead of going into the more in detail, assume that when I use here search, what happened here? It is expecting a something. It is expecting a value here. It is expecting the input. So in order to expecting the, here it is expecting the value. That means there must be a variable. there must be a variable. Now, here I have a Google. This is my Google. Inside this Google, we have a search, right? And this is my Visualforce page. What I need to pass when we click on the link. What are the link that we are implementing using the output link? When we click on that link, what should happen? It should pass a contact name to this search. It should pass the contact name to this search. Search is having some input parameter. Like when we go for a search, it is expecting some parameter, right? There is a parameter called Q. What is the Q? So Google asks, what is the Q? Q equal to your contact name. So I'm passing the contact name Q equal to Swapna Salesforce. So when it goes to the search, so in Google, we have a variable called Q. So if I pass Q equal to Swapna Salesforce, it will automatically open up the page. It doesn't come a page to enter here the whatever you wanted to search. This page does not come. It automatically take the person name and it will start searching it. Let me show you that. So here in the param, I'll say that name equal to let's say Q. Name equal to Q. Let's close this. Click on preview. And then click on search Google. It did not work. I saw. Google.com.
I'm having one question.
Yeah.
How it will take the contact name? Because yesterday we have passed some ID, right? In order to take the values.
Yes. We have to pass the ID. So let's pass the ID. ID equal to 18 digit. Now click on search. So automatically it has taken the Swapna Salesforce and by default it is searching the details. Now in another way, okay. So this is, for example, I wanted to open all my Visualforce pages. Let's assume that I have a Visualforce page, which we have written yesterday. Click on a preview. Now I need this page to be open when I click on this link. When I click on this link, I need this page to be open. And by default, the opportunity, I need not to enter this ID. ID equal to whatever the opportunity ID is there. I don't want to enter. As soon as it opened this page, I wanted to see the result. As soon as it opened the page, I wanted to see the result. So how we will do that? How we will do that? I am on to this page. When I click on this link, it should redirect it to this page. And ID also, it should pass automatically.
We should take the ID from object and store it as a parameter and we can send.
Perfect. Yes. So go here. Now, and let me implement apex colon output link. Right? Now within this output link, I'll just say that output field df underscore output field. Now here I need to pass a value. I need to pass a value. Now, what value do I need to pass here? I need to pass this one. Right? I need to pass this. Copy. Go to the developer console. Copy this and then apex colon. Param value equal to what we need to pass it here. What do we need to pass here?
ID.
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 Curly braces.
Now let's go. Let's close this. Now I don't have any page open. Just refresh this one. We'll see another one, VF underscore output field. So let's click on this. What happened here? ID 6. Question mark I'm adding here. Now one more thing, what is happening here? When I click on the link, my previous page is going away. It is redirecting to the same page, right? It is redirecting to the same page. I don't want to lose the same page. I want to keep this page as usual. And when I click on the VF output field, it should open the new tab. So for that, we have a attribute called target. Target equal to, in double quotes, underscore blank. And what is the error it is happening? Let's say name equal to ID. Let's refresh. Click on VF output field. Perfect. Right? I'm into the page where we have implemented the output link. I just clicked on that. It is redirected to the new page and it is passed the ID equal to this. I did not enter the ID. Now, what was the problem that was happening before? Because we have not written the name. We have not written the name. If you don't write the name, if you do not declare the attribute called name, what will happen? So now I clicked on this. See, it is changing it. So name is the one which will tell which input parameter are you passing. If this is the page, which input parameter you are passing to this page? I am passing the input parameter called ID. Perfect. If I mention the name equal to ID, okay, so when it is loaded, that time, what will happen? It will, okay, you are passing the ID. So that means we need to add the ID equal to whatever the 18-digit ID is there, it will add the 18-digit ID. By default, it is redirected to the page and it also loaded with ID. Whatever the 18-digit ID is there, it is loaded. Now observe here, what I'm doing here in the value, I'm hard coding everything from the beginning. I'm hard coding everything from the beginning. But in Salesforce, instead of doing this, in Salesforce, right? Here we have a ID equal to some 006, some 18-digit value is there here. Now in Salesforce, instead of mentioning this https://samskarit2-dev-ed __ c.develop.vf.force.com, instead of mentioning all of this, what you can do is you can use URL per. You can use URL per. And this is the function. This is the function. When you say URL per, and inside this, in the double quotes, /apex/vf underscore output field. That's it. What are the base URL is there? You need not to mention this URL. Instead of that, use a function called URL per. This is a function. URL per. And inside the URL per, just paste whatever the Visualforce component name is there along with the Apex. But this has to be inside the merge field because we are using the here. What we are using the function here. It has to be within the merge field. Any questions here on the param, Apex param?
Swapna,
Yeah.
when we use params, don't we have to use flower brackets and 0 or 1? Like now this is the first param, right? Name is equal to ID. How does it know the output link that it has to refer to this value? Don't we have to say question mark ID is equal to flower bracket 0?
No, that is only for the hard-coded value. What we have done here, where is it? Okay, so what we have done here we have mentioned value equal to my and value equal to Visualforce. I did not say anywhere here name. Name I have not mentioned. If you have some value here, which you just need to pass it as the first parameter or second parameter. Or else, if you do not want to specify as a first parameter or second parameter, just mention the name. What kind of a data that you are passing. Here we are passing the kind of data is name ID. So ultimately it will think that this is the parent, this is the child. Child will give to the parent and parent will take. While taking this information, first it will check what type of a parameter it is. Yes, ID type of it. Now I need here we have an input field called ID. Okay, so they are giving me the ID information. So ultimately it will understand. It will understand. So if I have to tell clear, let me do this, then I'll come to that. So what I'll do is I'll remove this value. Instead of that, what I'll do, I'll just put the URL per apex/vf output field. VF underscore output field. Now let's go there. Right, it is working perfectly fine. It is taking the URL, the base URL, whatever URL is there, it is taking. Along with that, whatever the apex/ whatever the component name or Visualforce name that we have added, that's the same Visualforce name and parameter is passing the ID. Now let me go back to the page. Okay, so now I have a output link or output text. Okay, so I have a output link or a output text. First one is output link. This side output text. Text means I'm passing the hard-coded value. Some value I'm passing it. Or let's say hard-coded value. Here I need the information. For the output link, I need a information. When I say information or input value. Input value. Now output link is looking for some input data. So what it does, developer understood that. So they have implemented within this output link, they have implemented Apex Param. So they have implemented Apex colon Param. Now Apex colon Param can be provided, hard-coded value can be provided, whatever the input parameter is there, ID or a location, or if you're searching any variable in your web browser, those variable names, input variable names, right? Also, it can pass the text. When I'm passing the text to this, I might not require a name parameter. I need not to say this output text, whether it is a name ID or a name text or name location, I need not to say this. Simply in the output text, I can use the curly braces 0, curly braces 1, first parameter or second parameter. But whereas here output link is required the information, is required the input. There are different ways we can pass the parameter. When we are passing the parameter, we should declare what type of data I'm passing it, what type of information I'm passing to output link. So that's how I'll mention name equal to ID. In case in your link, it is required as 0 or 1, you can place that also in the link. That should be fine. So, but here I'm passing the ID, 18-digit ID. So that's the reason it is taken this. So what will happen? It will take the output link of this. This is my output link. And this is the parameter. So combine these two, and it is adding here the ID. In case if your output link needs a text value, just whatever you have a parameter. So if you are placing a text, you can use the 0 or 1 or 2. Different ways we can code it. It's not necessary that I need only this information. Otherwise, if you wanted to pass a date, today's date I wanted to pass. Okay, then if you wanted to pass a today's date, we have a function called now. What will do, it will give you the complete today's date along with the time zone. It will give you complete time zone. So for example, now I'll take another one. Output link or output text. Let's take output text. Apex colon output text. Now, in the output text, I need a date. I need a date. So if I need a date, what I'll do is through the Apex colon param, I'll pass a value equal to, we have a function called exclamation now. We have a function called exclamation now. So what it will do, exclamation now, is it will give complete data, complete information it will give. Now it provides me date, time zone, and different ways it provides, but I'm expecting only the date. From now, now is basically it will give me the date, time zone, everything it will give, but I just need a date. So in that case, what I'll do is value equal to, I'll say that take 0th and take the date and give me only format of DD, YY, DD, and YY. Give me this format. Give me this format. Here I need a 0 because I need to look at that particular one. Sometimes it is not needed. If you do not mention here the name, if you are not passing any ID information or a location or anything to the parent, maybe it is not required. But if you are just passing the value or a text or some by default, whatever is Salesforce providing, those information, if you wanted to pass, then go ahead and take 0. Here also you can take a 0, that's fine. So in this case, what will happen? I'll just get the DDMMYY format. DDMMYY format. So 19th, where it is giving 21, 23, 2023. Let's see if I give the capital M, what will happen? Okay, 19/01/2023 it is giving me. So there I have taken the 0 and the format that I told is TDMMY date format. So different way, it's all based on your requirement. It's all based on your requirement. How do you want it to set? Sometimes we do not need a param. Sometimes we do not need. For example, there are few Visualforce pages where it does not require an ID. So what I'll do, I'll just remove it and I'll pass that particular Visualforce page name here. There it is not required the param. Is that clear? Anybody has any questions? Now is a Salesforce standard function. Now is Salesforce standard function. It will give the today's date, current time, and whether it is a location also it will be GMT or PST. Current time in format of milliseconds, seconds, hours, right? Everything it will give. Today, how many functions we have learned? 2 functions. One is the URL per and the second one?
Now function.
Yeah. Any questions on this param? Is that clear or should I need to repeat again?
Right, confusion now. My side. I don't know about others.
Yes, tell me. What is the confusion that you have? Okay. So this is the output to view the Visualforce page. Right? Are you clear on this? Who asked that question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here, this is a Visualforce page. Okay, I'm passing the ID, right? I'm entering the ID equal to 006. Now I see this entire thing is a link, right? So what I'll do is I'll combine this. I'll divide this. This is, I'll take it as an output link. Okay. I can give entire URL also. In the output link, I can give. There are 2 ways which I can do it. I can give this entire URL in the output link. We have a apex colon output link. This is the Visualforce tag, is there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I can give this complete one, right? But assume that this ID is keep on changing. Assume that this ID is keep on changing because what is this ID? This ID is opportunity ID. This is opportunity 18-digit ID. Okay. This is opportunity 18-digit ID. This ID is keep on changing. So what I'll do is, okay, I'll tell the output link, just take only till this point. Take only till Visualforce, whatever the Visualforce page name is, take only that part. Now within that, I will use the parameter. Within this output link, I will use the parameter. I will use the apex colon param. Okay. In the apex colon param, what I'll do, I'll say that name equal to, I need to pass a ID. So I'll say ID. Now here value. Value is every time it is changing. Every time it is changing. That means I need a variable here. I need a variable. So that means first time it is this value, second time it is something else, third time it is something else. So what I'll do is I'll take out this. I'll take out this from the output link. Don't worry about it. I'll say output link. You don't worry about the ID. I'll make sure that your child component pass the right ID to you. Now, who will be giving this ID to child component? We will declare a variable. We will declare a variable. Let's say variable equal to of ID. Okay. There is some component every time it is updating the ID. There is some component every time it is updating the 18-digit ID. Now this op ID, what I'll do is I'll use it in here. I'll use the op ID here. In double quotes, merge field of ID. Then close it. Now, while executing it, here I'm closing the output. While executing, this entire component executes as a 1. This entire component executes as a 1. So that means when it is executing this, when the output link is, whenever it is running, it will check, do I have a child component? Is it giving anything to me? Yes, if it is giving to me, then I should take the value of that and whatever I have, whatever the data that I have, use that data and combine with whatever the parameter is giving the value. Shailaja, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
How about others? Anyone who has a question, just if you want me to repeat, I can repeat it. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Is it possible only 4-digit ID taken, last 4 digit?
What do you mean by last 4 digit?
If last 4 digit is changing only, that time.
You need to customize it.
Oh.
You need to, what are the variable you have here, you are declaring within the Visualforce page, this need to be customized. It's very tricky one, Param, but it's very useful in the real time. Not every time we will be using the Param in the real time, but if you need in the output link, you have to use it. Basically, what the Param does to pass a parameter to the output link. How you are going to pass it, it's all different way. Either you can pass it in the curly brace 0 parameter or post parameter, or you can mention here name and then pass the name. Any questions?
So Param is the only way we declare variables. It's for the parameters, right? But there must be a way to declare variable, correct?
Yes.
That's in the Apex program?
Yeah, not the Apex program,
Classes?
in the Visualforce.
No, I mean, suppose like in C or in Java, we have like int C is equal to 10. Like that is a variable, correct? And parameter
That
is
is a
something what we
variable
pass to
that
the
we will do
function.
it in the Apex, but there is another way of declaring the variable in the Visualforce.
Okay.
We will come to the Apex. Also, we will see how to declare the variable in Visualforce.
Okay, thanks.
If I have to tell what is the parameter here is nothing but just example. What is the parameter here? Whoever is hearing for the first time, what is the parameter? For example, you have a system. Okay, it is logged. Okay, in order to open the system, you have to give some key here. You have to give a PIN number. You have to provide a PIN number. When you provide a PIN number here, click on enter button, then your system will open. What are you doing here? You are passing a parameter to this. You are providing a parameter here. For PIN, you are providing a parameter. So what Param will does? Param is Apex colon Param, and you'll say name. If the input parameter is, let's assume PIN, then you'll say value equal to, you'll say password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the password is there. Where you will pass it to the either Apex text, or you will pass it to output link, or you will pass it to command link, or you will pass it to action function, or you will pass it to action function, wherever you are using to open this system. To unlock something, unless you doesn't pass the parameter, it will not work. The function does not work. It's similar like you have a function here. The logic has written here, but in order to execute this function, you need a certain parameter. You need a certain parameter. You have to pass that parameter, then only this function works. You have to give a PIN number here, then only your system will open. Mobile. In mobile, if it is unlocked, if you wanted to see WhatsApp message or anything, what you have to do, you have to provide a PIN number. What are you doing here? You are passing a parameter and clicking on the enter button. When you click on the enter button, if the parameter, whatever you passed it, if it is perfectly fine, then it will open up your mobile and you are able to access all the applications. Like that in Salesforce or in any language you take, JavaScript or anything you take it, some functions, in order to execute properly, it requires a certain parameters. This parameter might be coming from somewhere else, right? There is some logic which is executing and it is passing the parameter to here. It is passing the parameter to here, and based on the value, again execute this function. Clear? I have a child component. Here I have a parent component, right? In the parent component, I have written the logic. But in order to execute this logic, I need some information from the child. So what child will do? It will pass a parameter to the, when I say parameter, certain information we are passing. After the execution is completed in the child, at the end, the variable name, it's suppose variable name is some ABC. So what it will do, it has to pass the, at the end of this execution, this variable has to pass to the parameter. Based on that variable value, the logic gets executed. It's kind of a if execute this, or else if your value is a different, execute differently. Same thing is called parameter. Parameters, passing a parameter. I'm passing certain value to the parent. Is it clear? Yes or no? Is it clear or no?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's go on. What is Apex Param?
It is a child component.
It's child component. Use it to give the parameters for the parent component.
Use it to access the logic.
The parameter of the parent.
It's a parameter.
It is a
Set to
parameter.
pass.
For a parent component.
Any other definitions for the param?
It is a child component to access the logic in parent component.
Yes, Rajkumar.
This is a Visualforce tag used to pass parameter to parent.
Okay. This is not there. What is output text?
To display a text out.
To display
And display text on
Text on
Visualforce
page.
Display text on the Visualforce page.
what is static resource?
External style sheet.
Resource.
Resource is
Which we use in the Salesforce.
developer to
External
upload
style sheet.
content that you can reference in a Visualforce page, such as images.
So static resource allow developer to upload a content that you can refer in a Visualforce page, such as images, style sheet, JavaScript, and other files. So this is the homework. So here we have written the two Visualforce pages, right? In our class, one is the input component, second one is output component. So when I click on this, it should open the input Visualforce page. It should open input Visualforce page. And if I click on this output, it should open the output Visualforce page along with the ID. Pass the ID also. If you do not have these Visualforce pages, you have to implement. First one is output page, Visualforce output page for the output components. Second one is Visualforce page for the input component. And first one, it should display the date. Okay, so we are done with the class. If there are any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Whoever is not clear with this class, don't leave. Ask me the questions.
Swapna, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Sanjay.
Yeah. The thing is, like, I just have a doubt about the yesterday's homework. Like, you just told us, like, we need to just enter into the account object and we can just create this address and billing address, zip code and all, right? So, when we implement the code, like outside field, output field and all, like over there, like what we need to apply to just enter those things into that page?
Okay, let me open the yesterday's one.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your question here?
Yeah, as you just told us, like the address information has been not there in the like leads as well as in that also, right? Like the account, sorry. Yeah. So you just asked us to just see like how it will be and from where we will be creating that address information and all. You just told us in the class today, like we can just go to the new and all, like we can just take the account object over there. Like over there, we can just see these all contents, right? Like whatever we need, like the billing address, zip code and all. So my question is like, when we just implement this output field and over there we are keeping the account over there, like we can just get all the information, right? So here, when we want this address and all, like what we need to insert in that?
So that's what I told here in the assignment, billing street, right? So billing street will be there only in the billing street field. So account dot billing street.
Okay.
Now, what is the next field that we have? Next field is billing city.
Billing city. This two we got, ma'am. Billing state province. That two only we it shows an error.
Which one? Billing state provision.
Yeah, billing zip postal code. This two I didn't get. Ma'am.
You can use account dot billing state.
Okay.
And postal code, just use the account dot billing postal code.
Account. Okay, okay, ma'am.
Swapna, here one just info needed. Here it is showing only API names, right? It is not showing the UI name details.
Yes.
So nowhere we can find these details, or just from UI only we can get it, right? Defaultly, what are all the details showing in UI while inserting, those will populate. Correct, right?
Basically, if you wanted to populate the billing street, you have to use the billing street field. This field is not, you cannot see on the UI level. But in the UI level, Salesforce merged everything and showing as a one field, which is like an address. But in the development, we cannot take an address as a one field. We have to divide the address into the different sections.
1 minute, Swapna. 1 minute.
Then Swapna, like when we keep over there at the address information, like when we take it into the account and all, like how it will be taking that then?
What do you mean by how it is taking?
Like when we go to this, just a minute, I'm just opening my Visualforce page.
Okay, here we have a account. Let's suppose here I'll take account. And I'll take a account name.
Account dot billing sheet or something.
Account dot
billing sheet. So here this is understood, but usually we are having field name and API name and field name, right? For these fields, we can't see the field name, right? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, you cannot see the field name in the UI.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Defaultly, but when I open,
the thing is that you cannot see the field, but when you go to the Salesforce, when you click on the address field, let me go to the account. When you edit the address,
there it is showing in the UI fields, which only reflecting there. When I click on a preview,
that means it is in the object manager. It says only one field, but back it has. If I click on this edit, It will tell what are the values. Billing state is a separate field. Billing city is a separate field. Billing state provision is a separate field. Billing zip postal code is a separate field. Billing country is a separate field. But these API names you cannot see in the object manager.
Internally, these are mapping to that field names.
Yes.
Thanks.
Ma'am, one small doubt, ma'am.
Yeah.
Actually, we are using style here, right, ma'am? New link, font weight, this and all. So these all are font weight, font size. These all are we have to where we go at that one, ma'am. From CSS only, we have to remind those things, ma'am.
This font beta.
Yeah.
So it's you have to go to the CSS style sheet.
So by the requirement, we have to use those things.
Yes,
right?
yes. Based on the client requirement, if they say that bold text, so then you can type bold in CSS. So you can, it will show you the font weight property. So
the
that
styling and all we used only CSS only, right, ma'am? In Visualforce.
In Visualforce, for now, use the CSS because we have not yet reached to that point.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So mostly in Visualforce, we use the CSS only. Very rare using the SLDS.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions today? Static resource, output link, output text, param. These are the 4 things which we have learned. Now function, URL bar. Any questions?
Ma'am, I have a doubt. This style, CSS. Ma'am,
yes.
Here, this code.
Style, okay.
Yeah. Here, new link is there. Beside that, you have put one dot.
Yes.
It's for what, no?
It's basically, if you type here, okay, so you remember I was taking the H1, right? When I gave the H1, I gave the just H1 and style. That means H1 is a HTML tag. For that tag, we are applying on top of it some style, right? But I'm using here custom. In case if I use a custom, it's not a standard. Then I have to put dot and then new link. Dot is like we are going into the shared CSS style sheet. If you see here, CSS style sheet.
Is it mandatory, ma'am?
Yes, it is mandatory. If you are using the custom, it is mandatory. Because you are not, this is already not there in the, it's not there in the page. For example, if I type like this, okay, I'll save it. Visualforce allows to save. Okay, now I'll just preview it. And pass the ID. Does this reflecting? It's not reflecting. If I click on the inspect, okay, does it showing my, it is only showing me what are the page header, page body is there. It just have this. See here, dot PB body, dot LB body description. It's applying this. This is Salesforce is applying it. Whenever we implement some custom styles, we have to use the dot. If you are using a standard like a H1, A tag, or some tags are there, style attribute, text align. But for them, it is not there. Whatever by default is provided here, like a body is basically that is a tag. If you put body and add some CSS here, it works perfectly fine. What are the TDs are there? But if you wanted to put something custom, now in that case, you have to put dot. If I add a dot, it will work.
Okay. And one more thing, the color.
Yeah.
There, that code only.
Code, okay.
And in that CSS,
CS.
color colon blue important is there on escalation mark is there.
Important means override it. Already that means there is a Salesforce is applying some color. Salesforce is applying some color. If I wanted to override on top of it. Okay. Now I have added the color blue. Is it showing here? It is not showing here because right click inspect. Now here see it's striked out. Why it is striked out? Because there is on top of it, Salesforce is applying the color. Now,
Okay, by default, Salesforce
sometimes it takes. Sometimes Salesforce does not allow to override some things. So in that case, there are few CSS are there which Salesforce does not allow us to change. So in that case, if you wanted to make changes on top of it, override the existing Salesforce one, just use that. So what will happen? It will strike out the existing one. It will use the yours.
It's a custom color we need to add on.
Sorry?
It's a color customized. We need to add on that for particular place we need to set up on it, right now.
Yeah, even for the particular link, or for example, you wanted to change this one. This is Salesforce standard, but if you wanted to change the color of this close state, you can change it. Only you have to put a exclamation important so that it will override the whatever the default one is there.
Yeah, okay.
Today, what did we learn? Whoever is there left. What did we learn today?
Yeah, output text. Epic colon
Text text and parameters. Parameters. Apex param.
Param. Static resources.
Yeah, static resource.
What else we have learned? How do we call the static resource? Which tag do we use it?
Apex colon style sheets.
Okay. What are the functions that we learned today?
Now function.
Now function.
What is the other one? URL for
access.
Okay. If there are no questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Sapna.
Thank you. I'm ending the session.